We are going to call tonight's Novi Board of Education regular meeting to order. If I can have our special guest come up, Mr. Micah is going to introduce you this evening so that you can help us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So when your name is called, you can come on up.
Yeah, we're excited to have some of our students, our Wildcats from Novi Woods. We have Joey Lawrence from 3rd grade, if we can give Joey a hand. We have Nolan Borton from 1st grade. We have Hannah Mather from 2nd grade. And Arhan Mather from kindergarten.
If we can all please rise.
Nolan.
You guys, the flag's right back here.
Whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready, you can start us off.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I think you guys had a Novi Woods song you wanted to sing?
Oh.
Is that right?
We'd love to hear the Novi Woods
Yeah,
song.
please.
Nolan, can you start us in it?
We are Novi Woods and we're doing our best.
Turn around.
Way far ahead of the rest. In our green and white, we do what's right to learn all the lessons inside. I forgot to
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good job. And you don't have to stay. Go enjoy this beautiful weather day if you'd like. All right, if I can get an approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Support. Recommended by Mr. Cook and supported by Mrs. Roney. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we'll move on to our student board representative report. And we have with us tonight again Cameron. Welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Ruskin. I'm happy to be here. So I'll get right into it. So obviously a lot has happened in this last month since the last meeting here. And so to start off, I wanted to say prom did go spectacular. Thank you to our junior student council. I think I told you all last time that the theme was Mamma Mia, and it went really well. I remember going there. It was sweet. The DJ was great. The food was, the food was great. And it was just a great experience. And so I was really happy to be able to be a part of that. And then sports, we had, boys volleyball play yesterday. I can't remember who they played, but I do believe they won. Please fact check me if I'm wrong, but I do believe we won yesterday. And so sports have been doing really well. Track has been wrapping up very nicely. And the same as well with girls lacrosse. So all of our Novi teams have actually been doing pretty well so far. And then we had Teacher Appreciation Week, which was really cool because I got to see Mr. Micah. He came and he had lunch with some of the teachers. I didn't get any, just for the record, but it smelled good, so I'm sure it was great. And it was really nice to see our fellow teachers and staff and faculty appreciate it, which was great. And then for what I think a lot of people are excited for, graduation, there's quite a lot to cover, so I made like a whole list. So first off, this past week was our last week. To say yesterday was my last official day, like they made sure to let me know we are not welcome back in high school. So, but yes, Monday started off as our last advisory, which was very melancholy because it was like we've been in these advisory classes since our freshman year all the way up into our senior year, and you usually stay with the same person, and so it was really hard to let one of my teachers go. It's been very, very bittersweet this last week. And so then Tuesday we had our clap out with the actual school, and that was 10 times worse. I remember seeing my brother in the hall. He's a freshman this year, and I tried hard not to cry, and I didn't, but it was like, I don't know, I've been going to Novi my entire life, and so this has been a very nice big step to take forward, but so it's also kind of sad leaving everything behind, And then this past Wednesday, so yesterday, we had our meeting on graduation with all the seniors, and we all talked about what this next week's going to look like with our commencement on Sunday. And that went actually very well. I got out very quickly, which was very nice. And so then we had our senior picnic following that from 11 to 3, and that also went really well. It was nice to see everybody wearing where they were going to go. I had no idea half of our school was going to MSU. So go green and blue for the U of M people out there. And so yeah, that was really cool to see. And then today was our elementary school walkthrough. So I am a proud Village Oaks alumni, and so I see Brandon and Chris out there too. Those are my guys. And so that was really nice being able to walk through the school. I didn't recognize the school whatsoever, but I recognized the hallways and 3 teachers, so that was awesome though, still to be able to see everything and seeing the new generation come up, because I guess 10 years ago, that was me, and so that's like, wow. And yeah, and then we have commencement coming up this Sunday, AP exam, the last one is this Friday. I have to take it, which is great, and so yeah, I get to come back 2 days after I'm done, yay. And so yeah, it's been very, very nice, and then commencement this Sunday, so thank you.
Awesome, Cameron. Congratulations for everything that you've accomplished here in Novi. It sounds like we'll get to see you for one more meeting.
Yes.
So I'm glad to hear you're going to be enjoying the celebrations. You have enjoyed them. You're going to be enjoying them. It's nice that they'll let you back in just on Friday to take that exam, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's just
good.
great.
I'm glad they'll do that. But thank you again for all you've done to keep the board informed in the community and just been a good liaison to the high school. So
Thank you so much.
We'll see you at the next meeting.
See you at the next meeting.
Okay. We are going to move on to, we have 2 board reports this evening. We have we'll start with the Care Solace report. I will turn it over first to Mr. Micah.
All right, thank you. Tonight we have our Director of Mental Health and Wellness, Ms. Rosalie Johnson. She's going to share about an exciting program that she has been overseeing and getting underway and called Care Solace.
Thank you. All right, good evening. I am excited to share with you a new partnership that we will be embarking upon that's going to provide a very valuable resource for our students, our families, and our staff. Just to frame the conversation before I really get into the what, why, how of Care Solace, I want to tie this to what I was up here presenting to you at our last meeting, which was about MTSS. And so, yes.
Do you need a mic? I don't know if they can hear you on the video or not.
Okay, that's okay. Would you like me to start over or keep
No,
going?
you're fine. Thank you.
So I just want to tie this to our multi-tiered system of support. So I spoke about this a little bit last time. MTSS is a framework that really embodies all of the things that we do in our school system to support students. And it's often thought about through a tiered approach. So a lot of the work I've been doing this year is to really create these resources that fit into these tiers to support our students specifically in the areas of social and emotional learning and character education. So when we think about Positivity Project, which we're getting ready to really fully launch this next year, that's a tier 1 support. Panorama serves as our universal screener at the tier 1 level and has resources through Panorama Playbook to support tier 2, so those students who might need a little bit of extra support. And then when we think about tier 3, those are supports that are more intensive and might go beyond what the school can provide. And so Care Solace is a tier 3 support that's reflected in the Power Cat. That highlighted area just shows that this is a support for tier 3. It's a support for our students and families that might go beyond what the school can provide. Similar to other partnerships, strategic partnerships like Novi Youth Assistance and Easter Seal. So Care Solace is one of those tier 3 resources. So what is it? It is a web-based navigation system that is used to assist staff, students, and parents in locating and connecting with mental health treatment providers. And they've expanded their platform. They also can connect our families with social services like food assistance, shelter support, health services, all sorts of things. And I'll get more into that detail about the continuum of those services in a minute. So 3 highlights when we're talking about what Care Solace does. They have something called a warm handoff referral process. So using the software and platform system, our staff can easily submit referrals on behalf of a family if a family is interested in that support. So we wouldn't submit a referral without the family's consent and agreement that this is a support they want. The other thing that's very notable about Care Solace is this is a resource that provides support 24/7. It is available every single day, nights, weekends, holidays, and it is available in any language, which is really important in our community when we think about removing some of those barriers. And finally, a notable feature is that they have this Care Match self-serve tool. That's important because a family or a staff member might want to seek support of a care companion without anyone knowing. So this is an anonymous way to get that support. So why is it important? I have shared this information with you before, and I know it's no secret to you that navigating the mental health care system can be very complicated for a variety of reasons. Everything from insurance to social stigma to long wait lists, specializations and finding the right person. Having a therapist can be very personal, and that can be challenging to navigate. One of the statistics that Care Solace shares is that when individuals navigate the mental health system on their own, only 18% actually book an appointment, just due to barriers. When Care Solace intervenes and they serve as that support navigating the system, that statistic increases to 50%. So how does it work? There are 3 steps to this process. So again, as mentioned, if a staff member is creating a referral with the consent of the family, we make a referral online. It's very quick and easy. We integrate Care Solace with our SIS, and within 15 minutes, a care companion will reach out to the family. So it's very quick support. So they will reach out and they will complete a screening with the family or staff member, whoever is seeking this support. They'll ask for basic information, insurance provider, a brief description of what the client is experiencing and the type of service that is desired. And they will connect you using their provider database, which has over 600,000 verified providers. There is quite a continuum of care that they can match you with. So anything from individual therapy to psychiatry to social services, hospitalization, partial hospitalization, applied behavioral analysis. There's a lot of supports that they can match you with. So step 2 is that your care companion will actually do the work to try to find the right match for you. So if I say during that screening process that I would like to be paired with a therapist who primarily speaks Spanish, who is male and specializes in anxiety, this is my insurance and this is the radius that I'm willing to travel. My care companion will find the provider or a provider that closely matches that preferred list that I have shared during the screening process. And they will do all of that work. They will call to get the wait list time. They will help navigate the system, and then they will call the family member or the staff member to present at least 2 options, and then they'll offer assistance even in scheduling. At that point, the family might say, like, I've got it from here, I'll schedule, or they might ask for the care provider, care companion to actually book that appointment. What is unique about the system is that we do, if the parent consents to us going through that referral process and they choose that path, not the anonymous pathway through the platform, we can kind of actually see, like, the care provider had 15 exchanges with the family via text, email, phone call, and they have an appointment booked. So it gives us some nice data, too, to know how many of our students and families are accessing this Tier 3 support. And then finally, this last step I think is a really important one. The care companion will check back in with the family. This is important because sometimes you can go through all of that work and book that first appointment and it's not the best match. So the care companion will circle back, they will reach out to the family, they will ask how it went, and if it wasn't a good match, they will begin that process again to find a better match for that particular individual. So some of the key benefits to highlight is this does provide universal access to care. We talked about in that screening process, they do ask about insurance, but if a family does not have insurance, that does not mean that they don't get care. So the care companion will work with that family to make sure they still get the care that they need. It is just a comprehensive support. Again, when we think about whole child and how we are really supporting all of our students, this is that comprehensive support that connects them at the right time with the right support. It enhances our school-based services. So something that's great to know is that this is actually a time saver for our staff. You know, a lot of times our social workers and our counselors are those people who are in the trenches helping our families navigate care, and that can be very time-consuming and tedious. And again, it can be challenging because I might be asked what recommendations I have, and I might recommend someone who worked out great for this person, but maybe it's not the best match for you. So this really gives us another support, again, at that tier 3 level for our staff to utilize with our families. And then also that case management data insights, it does provide us with a nice set of data for who is accessing that additional support. So just a couple of quick facts from CareSolace. Nationally, CareSolace provides access to about 22 million students, and based on their historic growth patterns, they forecast that they will support approximately 45% of the total K-12 student population by the year 2030. They currently support 47 districts across the state of Michigan, some local and surrounding, so Holly, Farmington, Lake Orion, Lamphere, Berkeley, Bloomfield Hills. And then I think this is probably the most notable. Since launching their services in the state of Michigan, they have retained 100% of their districts heading into the current academic year. No one has left CareSolace because it has been that impactful of a resource. And so the next steps would be an onboarding process where we are integrating with our SIS. Also communicating with families and staff that this is a resource that they have access to. There will be small professional development that needs to happen with our student support team. So again, our counselors, our student success coaches, our administrators, our social workers, just so that they know how to actually complete a referral. And then some of the work that I want you to know that's happening behind the scenes this summer is I'm developing referral pathways. So again, when we think about our whole MTSS framework, where does this fit in? And I want to really create some clear guidance for staff so that they know, like, when do I make a Novi Youth Assistance referral? Or when do I do an Easter Seals referral? When do I use CareSolace? So we have a lot of these really great resources at the tier 3 level and creating those referral pathways so that there's clarity around when I use what. Okay, and that actually concludes the presentation. Any questions I can help answer?
Thank you. Do any board members have any questions? Mrs. Boatwine?
Mr. Cook, you want to go first? I always go first.
It's always because my neck goes this way.
A
It's hard to see
couple of
that
questions.
Sure.
It sounds like this replaces the yellow folder that used to go home with some of the students at times if they were having a real rough day or...
So this is different than that. The Columbia or yellow folder is our process, our screener for when a student has expressed suicidal ideation. So when that has happened, we do offer support if a student is, based on the screener, if they are showing us that they really might need additional assistance, we provide them with options for additional assistance. So this would support that, actually. This would be a tool to use when we need to make a recommendation for a student or a family to have access to another resource.
Okay, and is there a cost to the district to participate in this?
There is a cost. There is a cost per student. It is $4 per student. We have consortium pricing, so because CareSolace has expanded and they're part of the Oakland Schools Consortium, we received a major discount for the platform, and also we are charged per student, but something that's important to note is that every student has access, every student's family has access, and that cost covers our staff as well. So every staff member can utilize CareSolace, and they can utilize it not for just themselves, but their family members as well.
Well worth it if that way.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Boatwine?
Okay, so this sounds great, and my first response here is I think this is fantastic, and having navigated some of these things in our family at various times, I think it's wonderful to have a resource that will tell you, try this place first. Mm-hmm. My question though is, how does this work with liability? Because I feel like if we tell students that they need to seek these services, sometimes that is something that then we have liability for financially or otherwise. And I was just curious, how that part of this works. Would we have any financial obligations? Or, what if we suggest someone from this program and it goes terribly bad? Do we have some liability in that legally? How does that part work?
So I think one thing that will be important to note in the rollout to staff is, and we have to always be careful with recommendations, right, versus requirements. And so we will make this resource available. It is not something that anyone would be like, you have to use Care Solace, right? So I think that's important. In terms of the liability, I think that's all part of the terms of agreement, and I'm looking to you, Ben, because you probably can speak better to that piece than I can.
Yep, so, sorry, I think this is on. There's always liability, with anything that we do, but one of the things that is great about this is that this is the largest network. There has not been a resource like this in the past, and so this is the largest network, and they have a very extensive vetting process. So I think it could be true of anything, right? If you were to say, there's a therapist that we feel comfortable with, we've had experience with them, they're down the road, but then somebody doesn't have a positive experience with that, right? I think that their vetting process, the number of clients that they have, the number of students that they support is pretty vast. And so, when we kind of look through those terms, we're very comfortable, Troon is very comfortable. But I think the piece that Rosalie's speaking about related to require versus recommend, that's where the financial liability changes. So if we're requiring somebody to do something, then that becomes an obligation for us.
Okay, so that won't be a problem on either of those.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I assumed it would be covered, but just wanted to make sure.
Thank you, Ms. Bodwine. Mr. Mishra?
So just to kind of follow up on that and to clarify, it sounds like the scope of this is we're presenting our staff and our community with a resource that, maybe on their own independently, they'd be paying $15 or $50 a month to be like a member of, to have access to a network or a guide to help them through the mental health services. It sounds like the opportunity cost, or in this case, opportunity liability of not providing assistance to our students, at least in my mind, would be greater. So I'm really excited about this program. I'm very interested to hear about the referral pathways that you mentioned at the end and how you're going to connect this and all the other great resources that I know our district has, but I'm not sure if our community is aware, to see if we can kind of put that in a comprehensive tool that's also easy to use and access for our community. Because I really do feel there's a lot of great resources out there, and this is a new one. But I don't feel like everybody always knows about them, or if they know about them, know how to utilize them. So I'm looking forward to that. Overall, I really liked how you tied it into our district mission of whole person development. Clearly, this is fitting our focus of wellness goal 1 to promote school safety through, in this case, our strategy 5 of expanding our mental health resources. So appreciate you going and finding this resource for us. And it sounds like, just to clarify, this is a no cost to the district, or very minimal cost for us to provide this?
There is a cost to the district. The cost is $4 a student.
Okay.
Something I didn't know, but I want to highlight based on what you just shared. So we will communicate this. We want this to be in front of our families and our staff. We know the end of the year is coming. And that can actually be a really difficult time for families because now they don't have the school support that existed. So we will be definitely putting a push in communication out so our families know that this is a resource that exists. And Care Solace will share that their usage rate skyrockets during the month of July, just because, again, we're not connected to the schools where we're able to give that tier 1, tier 2, and often tier 3 support. So just to note that.
All right. And Ben, will this be coming back to the board for approval with a cost number associated with it, or is this just something that
This is something that we've put into our budget as a part of the approved, already allocated budget for this part of Rosalie's domain in mental health and wellness.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, Mr. Mishra.
we're just basically learning about this is happening.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's great news.
Mr. Mena?
That answers my question.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for all your support all the time for our district and for our families moving into the summer and into next year. We
Thank you.
appreciate being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure we'll see her next month. We see her every month.
Well, that's because she's doing great work, and so we like to see her.
She's doing a lot of work.
Alrighty, we are gonna move on to our next report to the board. Mr. Donnelly is here, and it is the 2019 Spring Bond Update, and I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Micah.
Thank you. We've talked extensively about the 2025 bond program, and that is not what this presentation is going to be about. Mr. Donnelly is going to give a very quick snapshot of the work that's been done throughout the winter and the spring from the 2019 program and show you some of the updated slides and pictures. So turn it over to him.
Thank you. Happy to be here tonight. We normally give two, call it updates to the board on the bond program. Try to keep it as brief as I can tonight. It'll be focused on the 19 bond program. There'll be a lot more discussion moving forward related to the 25 bond program. We are in our last year of the bond program for 2019, which is exciting. We've been able to complete a lot of exciting and transformational projects, and we're going to be finishing the bond a year and a half early. So tonight I'd like to give a brief update on the high school baseball softball complex, which is currently being utilized, but just an update on its completion. We recently started the high school tennis complex, which is where the old baseball field is at. We're actively in construction with the sixth grade house renovations and just some smaller miscellaneous projects that we have upcoming this summer. Really just progress photos for most of these projects, but you can see that a lot of the field components are complete. They were able to take beneficial use of the fields the end of March. And from what I've heard from the community and the players and the staff, that the fields are great. We're going to be focused on completing the site work with asphalt, landscaping, and remaining concrete work as soon as the season completes. And all of our work in totality should be complete by the end of June. So hopefully people have had an opportunity to go watch a game. But all new turf fields, new video boards, new dugouts, new grandstands, press boxes, just some additional completion photos. And this is all phase 1 of the program. Phase 2, which will have additional work, which will be under the 2025 bond program. The tennis complex has started. I don't have too many progress photos, but this is a very basic rendering of where the new tennis courts are going to go, and that's exactly over the footprint of the old baseball field. We are currently under demolition activities right now, tearing out the old turf, tearing out all the other amenities, getting prepped to do a lot of earthwork to start the transformation of those new courts. I can tell you that the schedule for this project, we're looking to be complete this fall, sometime in October, and it should have some use this fall as we get it complete. The sixth grade house, which is going to have multiple user groups over there, including special ed, adult ed, the Japanese school, robotics, and the new administration offices, is well underway. It's scheduled to be complete in phases this summer. The new administration areas will be complete in early July, which will allow the administration and everybody to get moved in, get set up, and hopefully get comfortable before the busy season starts in August. And then all of the other areas will be turned over roughly mid-August, which will then give teachers, staff, administration a few weeks to get set up and acclimated before school starts. These are some old renderings that we've shared in the past of how things will look when it is completed, followed by some progress photos. If you have had an opportunity to walk the building, you can see that the administration areas are into the finish stages right now. Those are the first areas to get turned over. Some of the other areas are a little bit behind that, but they'll certainly catch up before our August completion. We're actually in painting and finishing mode in the administration area. Pictures of the new canopies. Each user group will have their own entry to the building, which is demarked by one of these canopies. We do have a new playground that's going into the courtyard, which is all the equipment is installed. The surfacing, the rubber surfacing and turf will happen here shortly. Just some additional progress photos. You can see the top middle. That'll be the new boardroom that we're currently in right now, so we're not going to have too many more meetings here. Some of the other projects that we have slated for this summer, which have recently gone in front of the board, the board did approve new teacher stations for the high school, which were ordered after the board approval. They're being procured right now. They'll be delivered in early June. And we're going to start that coordination to get the old teacher stations out, new teacher stations in. So the beginning of next year, every high school teacher's room will have new furniture as far as their furniture goes, teacher stations. We did approve some time ago new media center furniture over at the high school, which will be also installed in June. We're going to talk a little bit about it tonight, but there's a project over at Parkview that's being planned to enclose the existing media center, which is kind of open to the elements right now. And then as we move out of this building into the new space, we have a project that you've probably heard a little bit about, but there'll be more to come. The Novi Wellness Center, we're going to start that project here in September of '25. So I try to get through that as briefly as I could. Certainly, if there's any questions, I'm here to answer those, and appreciate the time.
Thanks, Mr. Donnelly, that was pretty quick. Mr. Mena has a
Yeah,
question?
I
Go ahead.
do, yes.
Yeah.
So, how many more meetings do you think we'll have in this place?
Through August, so I think there's
That's really coming up
3,
quick then.
4
It is coming
maybe.
up quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
The hope would be to have our first board meeting there in August.
Excellent.
We could do it.
You'll have to let me know how that goes.
Why don't you
We'll
come
save a
back?
seat
You
for
can
you.
come back.
You can
We'll
come
save a
visit
seat.
us.
I could.
You can sit in the big
I don't want to.
Mrs. Kleber?
I have 2 quick questions. The first, the tennis court renovation you mentioned would be done in October. Would those additional parking spots be available prior to that, or is that going to be chaotic for students and athletic events in the fall?
I can tell you that some of them will. There's really 2 parts to that which might generate additional parking. There's a footprint, which I'll pull up here in a moment, of where we were originally, with those dashed line boxes, we were originally contemplating potentially an indoor facility, which is heavily leaning towards right now to go in the new activity center. So that could either be additional outdoor courts or additional parking. The area north of that, which is in the darker gray, that will all be available for this fall, and it's going to yield approximately 100 additional spots for this fall's activities.
Great. I know how challenging the baseball parking is right now, so that would be hard to repeat that in the fall again.
For sure.
My second question is, I really appreciate seeing the physical updates of everything we're doing. Is it possible to get a financial update of the 2019 bond, of what's been spent under each category and what we
sure.
have left to spend? That would be helpful.
Timing's perfect. We have gone through a very detailed reconciliation with our accounting groups and in-house Becca staff to reconcile all the 19 funds. So we're ticking and tying to the dollar. We are going to be meeting here in the next week or 2 with Becca and her group, along with Mr. Micah. But I can tell you at a high level, we have a balance currently of around $8 million, which we're planning on hopefully carrying over a good chunk of that to the, that was earmarked for the original activity center. So hopefully, as things get approved this fall, they'll all go towards the new activity center, but we do carry a balance moving forward.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Donnelly? Mrs. Roney?
I just have actually a comment. I was at the Spring Institute up at Mackinac, and I had a couple parents that had been at our baseball complex, and they were just blown away at our new, so thank you for that. And also they loved the video board. I'm sure Willie had something to do with what was that, no? No? And so, I mean, they just loved it. So, I mean, not only do our own parents appreciate the complex, but other, schools' parents as well, so. And no one said anything about the parking, so I think we were okay.
We'll get there. It'll be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Roney. I know I heard a parent who is very, very involved in Novi Athletics the other day just say how great it was, and that she's been to some colleges and universities with her kiddo, and that this facility is, much better than many of those facilities. So we're very, very lucky and blessed here at Novi. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Donnelly? Yeah, Mr. Cook,
I'd like to
please.
make a clarification, because
Yes.
you mentioned Trustee Roney mentioned it. Mr. Mena has not had anything to do other than sizing a couple of those video boards in us getting them. It's been said at other districts that it was him that got them in here. It was not. He has just taken the technology and run with it. So we appreciate him and all the stuff he's done, but the reason we have him is not because of him. I don't think we would have him if it were up to him. So because of all the extra work it's given him. Because I know that rumor's been spread not only in our district but in other districts. So it's, we appreciate everything he's done with the technology, but he has, you know, like I say, he was not the driving force in getting them.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think you'd be remiss not to return the favor and let people know how much you get involved in helping create a lot of the content as well. So I'm sure the athletic department appreciates the work you do as well.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Donnelly.
Thank you.
We appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Okay, we are gonna move on to celebrations. This evening, we have 2 celebrations. We're gonna start with our esports champion celebration, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Micah.
This is always an exciting meeting when we get to celebrate some of our state champions, state runner-ups. We have some all-state selection students who are here. We have players of the year. And so our esports program has flourished under the guidance of Coach Chris White, and he is here tonight to introduce players and talk a little bit about some of their accomplishments this year.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Micah. Do you mind if I call them up?
Yeah.
Please
Come on up, everyone. So we have 2 teams here today. We have our Overwatch team, who were champions in the fall, as well as runners-up in the spring. Esports is a little bit different than normal athletics because we're not restricted by the seasons. We could play actually both fall and spring. It's of course very difficult to defend a title, but it was fairly impressive that they were able to win in the fall and get an opportunity to defend their title in the spring. And same goes for our Smash team. Our Smash Bros team is also here today. They were also winners in the fall and had a chance and an opportunity to defend their title as well in the spring. Also, unfortunately, coming up short, but we'll take 2 state champs and 2 runners-ups in the same season. That seems like a big win for me. Also, unfortunately, not here today is also our chess team that competes in the same organization that kind of runs esports nationally in America, known as Play Versus, and they were also champions in the fall. So all 3 of these teams, Novi's Chess Club, Novi's Smash Bros team, as well as Novi's Overwatch team, have been invited to compete in the only high school national tournament for esports, with our first games happening next week. So we're amongst, depending on whether you're Smash Bros, 32 teams, or for Overwatch and chess, 16 best teams in the nation.
Wow, that's impressive.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Don, but I always say we field better athletes than we do athletes, and this is proof.
And if, Coach White, if you want to introduce the athletes, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course. I'll start on the, I guess, my left, maybe your right. So we have Matthew Bowles on our Overwatch team. Next to him is Alvaro Hernandez on our Overwatch team. Albert Zhang on our Overwatch team. Noah Lee holding the big first place trophy there on our Overwatch team. Srijin Kundu next to him on our Overwatch team. Arlo Mies next to him as well. And then unfortunately not here today is Brandon Salo, who's also on our Overwatch team. And then we have our varsity Smash Bros team. One of our freshman Agamjad Dhaliwal is not here today, but our other 4 players are. We have Zach Apuada on the far left there, holding the really, really large silver chess trophy. Zach also has kind of helped out on our chess team as well, so he deserves to hold that one. Next to him is Brandon Migel with our second place trophy from the spring, then Chris Smith, and Daniel Hahn on the far right with the first place from the fall. On our way to the championship, our Overwatch team, we, I believe, defeated Taylor High School, if I remember correctly, in the fall. And then we unfortunately fell to Utica High School in the spring. And then for Smash Bros. In the fall, we played against Plymouth Canton Schools, and then fell to Farmington, unfortunately, in the final. Although we did get to beat Detroit Catholic Central along the way. So.
Thank you very much, Coach
course.
Chris. And Mr. Mena had a comment?
Yeah, one comment, one question. First question, is this like a cut sport?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So how many kids you actually have coming out to, wanting to participate?
This year, we had over 10 teams, including varsity and JV, and over 60 students.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
And I think we mentioned this last time, but holy cow, John, they got the coolest uniforms.
Actually, pin conning might have cooler, but we're up there.
They're great. Thank you.
Mrs. Roney?
How do you guys come up with your names? Oh, or should I not ask that? Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of reminiscent of how athletic players pick their number. They usually have their own weird story that takes way too long to tell.
Thank you. Mrs. Lieber?
Coach, I also just wanted to congratulate you. I saw on the MHSEL page that you were one of 2 coaches awarded the honor of Coach of the Year. So
Thank you.
just wanted to congratulate you. I think to have such a successful team, you obviously have a successful leader. So we appreciate all your time and effort you've put into this program and growing it to what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would be remiss not to mention, and I apologize to Albert for not. Albert was also voted the Overwatch Player of the Year of Michigan. So.
Thank you, and thank you for being here today. We wish all of you well, either next year here in Novi, or if you're moving on to, college, university, or somewhere else, that if you're continuing this, that you continue your successes. I know that I've visited a lot of colleges and universities over the last 3 years, and this is a really big thing, both, beyond Novi High School, so, okay.
Can I ask, are any of your players going to continue on esports in college?
I might, depending on what happens.
So we got potential of 2?
Yeah, I think at least 2. I can imagine.
Next time they need to participate in National Signing Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they did.
Possibly 3.
That's awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for being here, and
Thank you so
congratulations
much.
again.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll let them file out. Apparently, the rest of our
There
meeting.
goes our crowd.
Now we're lonely.
Okay, we are going to move on to our next celebration, and it is Hall of Fame coaches. I will turn this over to Mr. Micah.
This is also a very exciting celebration. We're very fortunate to have had and do have incredible coaches working with our students. And to introduce one of our recently inducted Hall of Fame coaches, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Wachowski.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to echo the congratulations to Coach White and our esports program. It really is a stellar program. And also just to state that the athletic construction going on right now is truly incredible, and so we're blessed, we're fortunate, and just to see the smiles on our kids' faces and the enthusiasm that they have to show up every day, it's been outstanding. So thank you for your support of that. I always say that celebrating our student athletes is the best thing that we can do. But second to that is the opportunity to be able to celebrate our coaches. And the coach I'd like to celebrate tonight is Coach Sparks, our head varsity football coach, for his induction into the 2025 Hall of Fame class for the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Coach Sparks. He's been coaching football for 33 years. He spent 23 years as a head coach, 19 years at Clawson High School, where he compiled 99 total wins. He's been with us here at Novi now for 4 years, compiling 22 total wins. Some of his career highlights: he's qualified for the state playoffs 15 times, 4 league championships, 4-time MAC Coach of the Year, 2002 Daily Tribune Coach of the Year, 2010 Michigan High School Football Coaches Association East All-Star Head Coach, which, by the way, they won 20-16. 2014 Detroit Lions Coach of the Week. 2022 Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Regional Coach of the Year. And Michigan High School Football Coaches Association President in the years 2021 through 2023. But how about here in Novi? As I mentioned, he's been with us 4 years thus far, and so far we've been able to put together, with the hard work of him and his student athletes and his coaching staff, 4 straight playoff appearances. We've hosted 2 playoff games, and he's coached and mentored 4 first-team All-State players and 28 first-team All-KLAA players. So, an outstanding run so far at Novi, and we look forward to many more years here. He truly is a leader and a role model for our student athletes, his coaching staff, and his colleagues. He's a team player. He focuses on what's best for Novi, not just what's best for Novi football. And that's rare. Coach Sparks is the first one to speak about sharing the field with our other fall sports. How do we incorporate POM, cheer, marching band? How do we make decisions that's best for everybody on our Friday night football games? And that is a great, great attribute of a football coach. But his number one quality, without a doubt, is his true care, his compassion, and his love for his student athletes. While occasionally it can be tough love, there's no doubt he strives for each and every player to become the best version of themselves, as football players, as students, and as citizens and leaders here in our Novi community. As student athletes, much like those within our class of 2025, are fortunate to have had and continue to have Coach Sparks as a part of their lives. So I'd like you all to join me in a round of applause for Coach Sparks, class of 2025 Hall of Fame.
That's tough to follow. Thanks, Don. I wasn't expecting him to say such kind words, but I appreciate it. And to everyone at Novi, it's been quite a journey for me. Born and raised in Clawson, and it was a point in my life where I needed a new challenge, and Novi came across my desk as an opportunity, and from day one, I felt welcomed in, and immediately looked at this as a complete privilege to represent, our student athletes and the community of Novi. The parents I've had a privilege to work with set a great example for our student athletes, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to have coached some of people here. The kids I've coached has always been my heroes. I admire the work, and I've just, over the course of many years, I've been fortunate to coach the great game of football. I've come across some great people, and it's a privilege to be going into the Hall of Fame with the city and the school in Novi next to my name. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, and I can't thank you guys enough. Willie was the first person I met when I got hired into Novi, then AD. Part of the pitch to get me to come was Mr. Gordon at the time said, you can't decide whether you want to take the job until you meet one person, and it was Willie, and I got a tour of the stadium and the locker room, and we've developed a pretty good friendship since then, and a friendship with a lot of people here in Novi. And just to echo my original sentiments, I feel privileged and honored to be a part of Novi. Thank you so much. Oh, my wife Karen joined me today. Sorry.
We figured she was videoing you, so if she wasn't with you, that would be a little weird.
Football wives, they should have a separate wing of any Hall of Fame for them, because the losses don't always go over well at home, and she's been great, and she helps me celebrate every victory along the way too. So she didn't want to be introduced, but Don wrote her name right there. So.
Congratulations, Coach Sparks, and I think that we have a few little comments. Mr. Meno.
Yeah, so when I heard we were doing this today, I wanted to put a few words together. I just wanted to say how much of an honor it's been to work with Coach Sparks since he first took over the Novi program. From the start, Jim brought not just football expertise, but also integrity, leadership, and true passion for mentoring young people. I still remember the day he got hired. I got a call from legendary high school sports writer Mick McCabe, who told me how fortunate we were to land Coach Sparks. And he was absolutely right. Jim has built a program grounded on values, character, accountability, and heart, and he's done it with humility in class. His players respect him. His peers admire him, and best of all, he even lets Paul and I hang around from time to time. And here's something most people don't know. After the games, Jim actually takes all the uniforms home and washes them in his house. I think he still does that, right? Yeah. It's amazing. I've never seen any coach do that before. But that's the kind of hands-on, all-in coach he is. So I wanted to congratulate you, Jim, on a well-deserved Hall of Fame recognition. We're proud to stand beside you and even prouder to call you a friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Cook?
I know you don't like the attention. You'd much rather just accept it and let it go away, but it's well-deserved. Your trivia questions now have to include you as who the Hall of Fame coach is, not one of your other coaches. But really appreciate you being here and the leadership that you've shown and turning some young boys into really fine men. Really appreciate it and look forward to this coming season.
So do I. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Sparks. And as you know, my son was honored to be on your team, and so we do appreciate all the work that you do here. You work with some really stellar athletes, and you work with some kids who like to dabble in athletics and other things, and you've always given them a chance to be balanced student athletes, so we really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Cameron.
Yeah, so I know we've never actually met before, but I just obviously I guess I'm graduating this Sunday, so I'm a senior, and I know like a lot of my guys or a lot of like friends I know have played for your team, and I remember people were always talking about this guy named Sparks, and he was a great dude. I never even knew who you were until I saw somebody came and got like a head cutout of you in the stands, and they were waving it around, and I was like, way to go, Sparks. And so we ended up winning that game too, and I couldn't tell you who we played, but it was a great experience, and thank you for all the wins and football nights you've held.
Thank you very much. We could have had you out there.
No.
We'll take anybody. We'll turn anyone into a football player.
Thank you, Cameron. All righty, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the evening.
Thank you.
Yes,
Can I add to the celebrations?
please.
One of the things that's not on the agenda here is I'd like to celebrate our mechatronics team, our mechatronics teachers. I'm part of, and Mary Ann's husband is part of the Mechatronics Advisory Committee. And we meet at least twice a year to discuss where we can take these kids in the industry. And I just want to celebrate what they've done in their first year of having the class. They've had 3 complete sessions with 25 kids in each session, which is more than what they expected. They've had kids receive the SACA, which is the Smart Automation Coalition Alliance. We've had them receive certifications in mechanical power systems, FANUC safety certifications, and FANUC handling tool operations and programming, just to name a few. And there are a lot of other certifications that they can go for. But in the first year, I think we getting students coming out of school certified in some of this stuff is great work by our teachers. So just want to celebrate them.
Thank you, Mr. Cook, and I appreciate that this is happening, here in Novi schools, and, some kiddos leave and go to OSTC, but it is so great to have the honor to be able to do it here in our schools, because it's not always a good fit for kids to leave and, go to a different building, so appreciate that.
I say there's so many great things going on in this district, and then there's so many great things that we don't even know that are going around in the district. So I'm glad you brought that up, because when we were first looking at building that program, that was the big question, like what kind of certifications can kids get from this too? So this was the first time I'm actually hearing this. I just think that's fantastic news, and I'm hoping to hear more about that in the near future. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to piggyback on that real quick. I was informed today from Mr. Peck, one of our parents in the district, that the Invention Convention just did very well, and in the 3rd to 5th grade group, they got 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place in the states. And we have several teams going on to nationals, so congratulations to all them, and best of luck in their nationals adventure.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Mr. Peck.
Alrighty. Seeing no more celebrations, we'll have more time during board communications to communicate out some things. We will move on to comments from the audience. Sheila, do we have any? Nobody has filled out a green card, so no comments from the audience this evening. Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Tonight on our consent agenda, we have approval of minutes of a regular board meeting, April 24th, 2025, approval of field trips, middle school and high school science Olympiad National Tournament, Michigan HOSA State Leadership Conference 2026, and the GAPP Exchange Field Trip to Germany. If I can get a motion. Mrs. Bodwine.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the consent items as presented.
Second.
Recommended by Mrs. Bodwine, supported by Mr. Mishner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We'll move on to our action items this evening. We will start with our personnel report A. Mr. Micah.
It's our personnel report for the month, and very excited about one of these individuals joining the team, and Dr. Carino will introduce.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm excited to recommend Jen Buter for the position of Executive Assistant to the Superintendent and the Board of Education this evening. Jen brings extensive experience in high-level executive support, most recently serving as the Executive Assistant to the Vice President of Regulatory Implementation and Data Governance at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. She has a strong background in complex scheduling, strategic administrative support, departmental communications, budgeting, and event coordination. Jen has also held administrative roles at Emergent Holdings and Livingston County EMS, where she was known for her organization, discretion, proactive communication, and ability to build strong relationships across all levels. We also have a few retirements and resignations to acknowledge. Cindy Valentine will retire on May 31st. We thank her for her many years of service and wish her all the best. Madeline Huber, speech and language pathologist, and Fiona Velthoven, school psychologist, will both be resigning at the end of the school year. Additionally, Jennifer Curry, second grade teacher at Novi Virtual, and Kelsey Galt, Meadow social worker, will be taking childcare leaves next school year. This concludes tonight's personnel report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carino. If I can get a motion, Mr. Mena.
Yeah, I move that the board adopt the personnel report as presented. Support.
Recommended by Mr. Mena and supported by Mr. Cook. Any comments or anything? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Carino to make an introduction.
Yes, thank you. We are very excited to have Jen with us tonight, so I welcome Jen Buter to the podium.
Hello, it's nice to meet all of you formally. I'm very excited about this role and bringing my skill set from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, like she said, as an executive assistant. I'm really hoping to bring in just some new ways of supporting the superintendent and the board and the Novi Community Schools in general. So I'm very excited about this opportunity and can't wait to get started in a couple weeks. Today I'm here with my family. I've got
You
my
can have them
husband
come
Brett.
up if you want. They can come up if you want, if they'd like to be on TV.
Yeah, I've got my husband Brett and my two daughters, Madeline and Nora, and my mother-in-law Terry's here as well. So she's the chaos coordinator for me tonight. So.
Awesome. I would say that the chaos is really minimal. Those girls sat, I mean, we are
Yes.
on 1 hour, 60 minutes, and they have been really quite angelic,
Yes,
so.
yes.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Thank
and we look forward to working directly with you.
Yes, thank you.
And don't feel bad if you leave. You can just take those girls out. If they're had enough of us, I totally understand. Yeah. Bye. Oh, kisses. Love it. Love that.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we will move on to our next action item. We have the OCSBA amendment to bylaws and resolutions. Mr. Micah.
Yes, at our last meeting for information and discussion, we talked about the Oakland County School Boards Association Resolutions and Bylaw Committee. These were placed in front of you. These do need to be voted on this evening, and so that the resolutions can be presented on their timeline. It's there for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. If I can get a motion. Mr. Mishner.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve all the OCSBA bylaws, amendments, and resolutions as presented.
Support.
I was looking for my, sorry. Recommended by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mrs. Kleber. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion?
No.
Nope. You said no?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor say aye, 6 of us, opposed, 1. So, motion carries 6-1. You threw me for a little loop over there. And I didn't have any discussion either. Do you want to make comments?
My justification is there's a few of the changes in here that I don't necessarily agree with. And there's some, you know, yeah, some of the verbiage and stuff that, you know, changing, allowing the board just to change some grammatical things is not, you know, something that I'm willing to just let go. So because of that, I think it still needs to come back for vote. It's primarily that one thing that I'm not thrilled with. So.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Would you like me to retake the vote? Just
No,
because
that's
I didn't
fine.
give you an opportunity to
No,
share your discussion before I did. I
that's
don't know if
fine.
it will change any vote, but.
I don't think it'll change anybody's mind. So.
Okay, sounds good. Motion carries 6-1. Thank you. We will move on to the MTSS platform recommendation. Mr. Micah.
At our last board meeting, we had the opportunity to hear from Spencer Riley and Rosalie Johnson, as well as Mr. Jeremini, about the MTSS process and the data system that is going to integrate with us, with our technology. And so the program called EduClimber, we're looking for a 3-year implementation for a total cost of $132,463 is there for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. If I can get a motion? Mrs. Rowney?
That the Novi Community School Board of Education approve the purchase of the EduClimber platform in the total amount of $132,463.
Support.
Recommended by Mrs. Rowney, supported by Mr. Cook. Any questions or comments before we vote? Okay.
I'll just comment that Rosalie did a wonderful job and the team did a wonderful job in finding this. To reiterate what was said before, is we started down one path and found it wasn't working or wasn't going to be the best path. So changing direction, and sometimes with a large organization that's not easy to do, but we're going to give it a shot. So appreciate all their hard work.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you, Mr. Cook. Any other comments or questions? Mrs. Bodwine?
I like to add a little context for the community, in case people missed the last meeting. This, and tell me if this isn't quite right, but this program is going to allow our educators to see multiple data points for their students when they're looking at the MTSS system. So if they determine a student needs maybe like a reading intervention or something like that, they can pull everything in from one spot instead of having to grab data from 5, 6, 10 different places in order to have that meeting. So it's going to help them be more efficient and do a more precise job for all of our students. So I'm very excited about this program. Accurate description?
Accurate.
Okay, I know not everyone tunes into all of our meetings, so I want to make sure they know what we're doing here, because this is pretty exciting.
Sounds good. Any other comments or questions? Alrighty, seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We will move on to our next action item, which is the building naming resolution approval. Mr. Micah.
Thank you. We have had the opportunity to talk as a board about the names of our upcoming launch of our new, what is formerly going to be the 6th grade house. And so through the course of several committee meetings as well as some surveys, the 6th grade house building and the Instructional Technology Center are going to be 2 somewhat separate facilities. There is a recommendation that the Instructional Technology Center be called the Educational Services Building. As I've shared, there was a discussion, at least, about the Administrative Services Center instead of the Educational Services Building, just because it's the same name that this building is. But that is in the resolution. Additionally, there was a really innovative idea for calling the new center the Novus Center, and the Novus Center, spelled Novus, is derived from the Latin word that means new, fresh, or extraordinary. And one of the things that is a critical part of the decision was also replacing the I in Novi with us, especially since that facility is about unity, collaboration, and community, shifting the focus from the individual to the collective. So the recommendation would be to name the building the Novus Center and to name the current Instructional Technology Center the Educational Services Building, unless the board wanted to shift to the other amendment. So the resolution for that is there for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Micah.
Can I say, this,
Yes.
this is one of those action items that almost screams for discussion before. So can we dispel with the current rules and maybe get to discussion before we put a motion on the table?
We can absolutely have a conversation.
Okay.
Yes. You want to start?
No, I wouldn't like to start. I just want to get some, because I want to get a little bit more information again about this, this little conflict between the names of the Educational Services Building.
Okay, so let's
maybe
start with
yeah.
that before we move to the other, the Novus.
Right.
We'll start with that. So do we have any conversation? Go ahead, Mrs. Cleaver.
I think part of Mr. Micah's prompting of that is that this being the Educational Services Building, when people refer to it, they're gonna go, wait, the old one or the new one across the street? So it could lead to some confusion. I'm sure over time it would stick. So I think the discussion was, do we call it, was it ASB?
The ASC would be the Administrative Services Center.
As opposed to ESB, so that there was no confusion on that. So I think that's the discussion point.
Mrs. Bodine?
Generally, I would think that would be a concern, but in this particular case, I think we would be fine, because if I were to drive here thinking that I needed to come to this building and it was not here, I would just go right there. And I think that, it's problematic if then you have to go across town because you went to the wrong place, but they share a parking lot. So to me, it seems like it shouldn't be a big issue. And we could even put like a little sign on the door here for the first year or something that just says, if you're looking for these services, please go across the road. But plus the first year, this place will be probably under construction anyways. So I don't think very many people are going to come in here looking for Mr. Winka if they've got like hard hats. So.
I tend to agree with you. I'm like looking out the window as you're
Yeah, like, I
talking, and that
can
was
see
my
it.
thought too, is that I believe, with a building as grand and, kind of bold as that, with large signage that will say the ESB, and I think that adding another name to another building, with all the building and construction that's going on, it could get a little bit confusing. So I would like to see it stay as the ESB, but certainly open to conversation. Mr. Mishner?
And I'm curious, the services that this current structure offers is completely replicated across the parking lot, correct?
There's actually enhanced resources over there because we have some of our people dispersed to other places throughout the district. And one of the big ones is technology will be housed in that space as well, so.
Well, we're not dropping any services or distributing what is here among many sites.
No.
So from that perspective, I feel like since we're equivalent services here, there with additions, it makes sense to keep the same name.
Any other comments from this side of the table? Now that I have my head turned, I want to make sure I don't miss anyone.
I'll go, the name, being just across the parking lot, it's no big deal, but we do, when we do have older community members come in, usually for our financial meetings and stuff like that, or if there's a major concern with them, that's the concern of having, just transferring the name over there, because they've been here a while, and it's like, they don't always look around. So I'm all for changing it to bigger and better, because we are adding services in there. We are adding things that are now distributed throughout the district, because there is not enough room in this building. So I'm not going to vote not to change it. I'm not going to vote I'll support changing it if that's what or I'll support keeping it the same, if that's what the rest of the board decides, so.
Thank you.
Do the people working in that building have a preference as to what it's called?
I don't think they have a strong opinion, but.
Nope.
They're
You
just
guys will
looking
just
forward
come
to
to work
the
either way?
furnishings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mrs. Roney,
As long as
do
we
you have
keep
any
their names
comments
on their
or?
paychecks, they'll be pleased.
Well, I'm one of those older people that have been in the community district. And the ESB, I mean, this is the ESB, but because I'm in tune with everything, it will be the Wellness Center. And I'm sure we'll have some good signage out there, so, I mean, I guess forever it's just been the ESB, and if you make me learn a three-letter different name, I'll be going, it's the ESB building, so it's, that's my only thought, but either way, I mean, it's wonderful, we're gonna have everybody in one place.
Agree. Mr. Meno?
Is it bad for a board member not to have a strong opinion?
No.
about- No, I mean, I think after listening to the discussion, I get the issue now. Even though I don't have a strong opinion, my leaning would then be to keep it the same. I think that, if somebody comes over here and says, hey, where'd the ESB go? This way, we would just say, oh, the new ESB is just across the road there, so, look, I could be convinced either way. It's not a huge deal for me, but if I'm gonna vote today, I'll probably just vote to support the current name.
Okay. So, if I can suggest, and if I'm out of line, you guys can all just tell me, I think that maybe if we do a motion based on this naming, have that go through, and then have a conversation about Novus, because I think blending them together might be a little confusing if people have certain, they may say, well, I like ESB, so I'm not gonna vote for whatever motion gets put through, but I don't love, and so I think that could cause some complications.
I just have one logistical question.
Yeah.
The address of ESB is changing, correct?
The physical address of the ESB is going to shift to that center, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when letters get addressed here, I guess they would just get carried across the parking lot if there was an error.
Correct. Yeah.
Because there'll be a mailroom over there, correct?
Yeah, there will be a new address on our business cards and itinerary.
And the wellness center will keep the same,
Correct.
the old ESB. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone want to make a motion? No. Mr. Mishner?
I move that the faculty formerly known as the ITC Instructional Technology Center building be renamed the Educational Service Building, which will serve for the location of the Novi Community School District Boardroom and the Novi Community School District Administration offices.
Support.
Recommended by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mr. Mena. Do you want any further discussion, or we just take a vote and see how it all goes? Yes?
I think along with that, we need to add that this building gets renamed.
Oh, do we not want to do that in a separate motion? I was just gonna,
I
figured
think,
we were breaking it
I
all
think
up.
if you're gonna do one, those two go together.
Okay, I will add to that, and also, the facility formerly known as the Educational Services Building, ESB, shall be renamed the Novi Wellness Center.
Re-support.
Okay. Recommended by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mr. Mena. I'm only laughing because formerly known made me think of Prince, because I'm old, and that's what I would think of, so.
We should just put a symbol.
Yeah, we just gotta put a symbol out there. You can all wear purple shirts to work. All right.
That would be not confusing at all.
All right, so any other conversation before we take a vote? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Got that?
Read the room.
All right. We are gonna move on to talking about the Novus Center. So I don't know if anybody wants to start that discussion.
I'll
Mrs.
do it
Buckline.
since you're looking at me.
Yeah, I'm just.
I support this. I like the name Novus, and understanding it means innovation, and also I kind of got excited about that it's like Novi for us, right? Which I think is great, given what this building will entail. But I think, generally speaking, people are gonna speak to going to the individual parts of this building. So even if this didn't really thrill me, I'm not sure this is one that I would lose a lot of sleep over, because I think most of the people will say, I'm going to the Japanese school, I'm going to the special education center, or I'm going to robotics. So I think I hope we don't get too caught up in making sure everyone loves the name, but I personally think it's great, so.
Perfect. Any other comments?
Are Mr. Cook or Mr. Micah in a position to talk about the results of the survey that was sent out?
Yeah, we had overwhelmingly over 80% of the people that took the survey were favorable to the name.
So we've solicited community feedback.
So since I was somebody who was negative about it at last conversation, I would say I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. It's growing on me. I asked my daughter what she thought of it, and she needed an explanation, and then once she got the explanation, she liked it. So I think that I am happy to support this, but with that, I would say I want a front page ad on Novi News so that we get an explanation of what this new beautiful building is. So like when we are welcoming and kind of displaying it out there, what we have done and built here, I think it's really important to put an explanation of what that means so that people can feel good about it and feel all those new, fresh, extraordinary feels.
Charity Meyer, if you're watching, if you could come to our ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yeah, we are having a ribbon cutting.
I'm not sure we even need to have a ad, we could just maybe.
Oh, not an ad, like an article.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was like, I don't know if we need to pay for an ad, they might just write a nice article.
Just an article, but inclusive of what the name and where that came from.
And that is Novi Note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Novi.
Speaking of naming things.
Novi News, I just got one like yesterday, and
Covers
they did
everywhere
not
by
have a
Novi.
single thing about Novi in it.
Well, maybe we could get on the Novi News with our new building.
It'd be the first time in years something about Novi was in it.
But, and I have one more comment.
Yes.
I thought we were going with the Grimaldi Center.
Yes.
Now I'm interested.
Now you're interested.
You woke him up.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments about this? Cameron?
Yeah, I would say I was like, I think 50-50 about the name before, more as like, I love the name, I think it's really interesting, I like the definition behind it, but like you said, it was kind of like being somebody who's not in tune and just heard Novus would be a little bit confused, but I think what you said about putting an explanation out there when if we do move forward, I say we, like I vote, but like if we all do move forward with this, like that would be like really, I think, beneficial especially. I know a lot of people wanted to go with the whole like, what's the theme, like, woodsy, like forest kind of thing. And so I did a little bit of thinking about it, not like a lot where I was losing sleep over it. And like I thought of a name like a little bit, like I might just put it out there.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let's hear it, Cameron. I thought like Harmony Hollow, because I feel like with everybody working kind of with doing like you said, like people going to the individual things in that building, but we're all still Novi together. Like I think it also still kind of coincides with the whole forest thing, and then it's also still all of us together. And so I don't know, Harmony, I kind of like that one. It's like 2 H's, so it was kind of cool. Like I said, I'm still fully Novus. I like Novus a lot as well. But yeah.
You won't like talk bad about it if we name it Nova Center?
No, not.
All right, just checking.
We'll make note of Harmony Hollow, because I'm sure with the way the city's planning on growing, we're gonna have to grow.
Right.
So.
Even like a Lipscomb building too.
Maybe you just named some future building.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Just like put my
like
name
it,
there,
yeah.
if you could.
Well, we
The
can
new
always do.
bus wash is
No,
Harmony
listen to-
Hollow.
yeah. Alrighty, any other comments or discussion pieces? Okay, so I think we're ready for a vote. Actually, we're not ready for a vote because we haven't had a motion. Who's making our motion?
Do we need to discuss the other ABCD of this motion, or is everyone good on that part? The Japanese Center,
Good.
Novi for All Learning Center, Novi Adult Transition Center, Novi Robotics Center, everybody?
I don't think we've heard any.
Okay, we're all very comfortable there?
Change those.
Great. Then I can do a motion.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education change the name of the facility formerly known as the 6th grade house shall now be named the Novus Center, and will serve as a multi-program facility which will house the Japanese Center of Detroit, the Novi for All Learning Center, the Novi Adult Transition Center, and the Novi Robotics Center.
Support.
Just one little clarification, Novi, or Japanese School.
Oh, what did I
Detroit
say?
Center
Oh, thank you, Japanese School of,
of
thank you.
Detroit, yeah. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thanks, Ms. Kleber, for the name.
And thank you, Dr. Ruskin, so I didn't accidentally misname our
I know, that would have been good.
It was a
Super would've
committee,
been like
committee
written.
decision,
Yeah.
us, not I.
Yes. Alrighty, we are gonna move on to staff additional compensation recommendation. Mr. Meinka.
Yes, we've had some discussion about this. I'd like to start by saying that we've worked very closely with our teachers and our support staff who are under collective bargaining agreements, and they've been very patient this year. They've worked hard, they've done a very good job. Unfortunately, the state of Michigan at the beginning of the year had given the school district a $0 per student increase, which is unprecedented in recent years. Thankfully, we've been able to save on some different services, we've been able to budget effectively, and we have trigger language in many of our employees are subject to that allow for, depending on how much money we get from the state, we're able to offer them some form of compensation increase in addition to what's there. And this year, because we got a 0, we're not entitled to do anything. But we've worked very closely with our employees, and they've been wonderful to work with. And so the recommendation that sits there, as the board has asked, I know that you've asked how we can support our staff. And so the recommendation is that with the approval of the board tonight, any employee covered under collective bargaining agreements and those that follow the NCSD funding-based compensation trigger formula would receive a 0.5% increase across all pay levels for the 24-25 school year. That is there for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Meinka. Mr. Cook, if I can get a motion?
Yeah, I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the attached resolution to approve compensation increases for eligible staff for the 2024-2025 school year.
Support.
Recommended by Mr. Cook and supported by Mrs. Beaudoin. Do we have any comments or questions about this?
I do.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Mena.
when I first saw this, I said, wow, who does this? What district gives raises to teachers and staffs outside of formal negotiations? So if any teacher ever wondered whether they're truly valued by this board or this current administration or this district, I think this is your answer. And let's not forget, this comes on the heels of a very generous contract that was negotiated last time around. So I just want to say, we see you. We appreciate everything you do. We thank you for your hard work, your dedication, and your heart as well in taking care of our students.
Very well said. Thank you, Mr. Mena. Mrs. Beaudoin.
Well, I didn't write anything as eloquent as what Mr. Mena just shared, but I did want to speak about this because all of us up here value our staff so much, and the people working in this district make all of us look great on a regular basis, and we are so very thankful for that, and for all of the love and care that you pour into our students and to each other to maintain the level of excellence that we've all come to enjoy here. I do want to kind of reiterate what Mr. Mena said. With the way the contracts were negotiated, we are not obligated to be doing this, and this board feels so strongly about the work that you are all doing that we want to make sure we are giving you as much as we possibly can. That said, like in the future, we maybe can't do this. So I just want to make sure everyone knows it could happen that there's a 0 increase another time and we aren't able to find this. But we are right now, and because we can, we want to support you all as much as we can. And we're just so very blessed to be a part of this district with the team that you have put in place, Dr. Carino, Mr. Meinka, and all of you for all of your amazing work. So we are very blessed to have the ability to do this now, and we're very thankful for this opportunity. So thank you, and thank you, Becca, for helping us make sure that we can do this and still maintain a sound financial forecast for the district, because that is also important.
Thank you, Mrs. Beaudoin. Yeah, I would like to say too that this is truly a team effort. In our background here, we talk about cautious and thoughtful spending and reviewing the current financial outlook, which comes from Becca. and Dr. Carino with, the help of all the work that she and Mr. Jeremy do with the staff. Mr. Burry's here, and, he works so closely with our district and with the NEA in making sure that we can find spaces and places that we can show our appreciation while still being fiscally responsible. It's a very, very difficult fine line balance. And, when we can and we are able, we want you to all know how appreciated you truly are, because you are the heart and soul, with our students being, our number one focus. So we appreciate you, and we're excited to be able to do this,
Yeah,
wouldn't you say?
yeah, I
I mean,
was
I think
gonna
that
say,
this is who wouldn't want to show support through extra compensation as a surprise at the end of the year?
Wouldn't it have been great if this was during Staff Appreciation Week?
Well, staff
It's so close.
Yeah, I mean, we can't be changing board meetings for all that.
No, but that's.
But who wouldn't want to be Mr. Burry, coming, he can gets to go back to school tomorrow and say, hey, I went to the board meeting last night and bought you
Guess
back
what
some,
happened?
I got y'all some raises, you know? We just locked his next election.
Alrighty, any other? Cameron?
Yeah, I know everybody's been saying it, but especially as a student that's gone through Nova my entire life, truly thank you to all the teachers that I've had. I had Mr. Burry back in 6th grade, and so that was I remember the last meeting when I remember you were saying how you as in Mr. Mike, I know you guys can't see, I'm looking at him, but when Mr. Micah was saying how him and Mr. Burry were going around, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my guy. And so it's super cool to see that these teachers are being able to be appreciated, because I know as a student the impact they've had on me, and I know how it impacts other students, and so thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Mr. Cook?
Yeah, it's really great that we can do this as an example of the heart that our teachers have. As we went to clap-outs today, I'm pretty sure you were at yours, and
I didn't skip.
although most of my son's teachers had retired the year after they had him. For some reason or another, I think there was a sign there, but there were still a few around that remembered him, and just they're 8, 10 years, 12 years afterwards, other teachers in the building that remembered him, and that they have the heart, the compassion for the kids is outstanding, and that over the years that does not fade. So we really appreciate them for what they do, and this just shows what we can do for them for now. So
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Any other comments? Mrs. Roney?
I was just gonna say, with the teacher appreciation last week, they're all kind of feeling like not loved this week.
Oh, right.
So, here we go.
Yeah.
You're loved.
Just extend it.
Coffee, car washes, pizza, no. A little bit of green.
a little lettuce.
Alrighty. If we're ready for a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. We will move on to information and discussion. We only have one item this evening, that is the technology area and Parkview Media Center discussion. Mr. Micah.
Thank you. So this is a situation that we've known about, but we had the technology areas at the now the Nova Center that were being created, and unfortunately at the time that we went out to bid, they were not complete, so the work to design those spaces happened later, so we knew that we were going to have to pay for this at some point. We did set money aside in the budget. We also had additional scope that was at Parkview Media Center, and that was to enclose the existing media center to make it a little bit safer and easier for the media specialists to be able to conduct their work with the students. So those two projects, coupled with several change orders, are leading to an amount of a little over $1 million, $1,075,332.45. This will finalize and complete the work that's being done on that facility. The funding is accounted for in the overall budget, but it's there for info and discussion this evening. This is one of those things, because of the timing and the speed, that if it was the decision of the board to move that up, we are looking at completing this in the next couple months. So it's there for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. Mr. Mishner?
So two questions. One, when you say it's accounted for in the budget, is this part of a contingency fund? And if so, which contingency fund will this be coming from? And the second question is, just to clarify, are you saying that if we're all in agreement, making a motion and passing this tonight would be beneficial to the district?
Yes, it's from the overall contingency. It's really a budget increase to that site, which we knew was coming because instead of doing a separate bid package for the media center, because it's a small program, it makes sense to use existing contractors that are on site. You get a little bit more efficient pricing. So those were known projects that had to be purchased, and so there was budget assigned to it. We're assigning that budget outside of the general budget for 2019 into the 6th grade house budget to be able to cover and finish the completion of the building.
Okay.
And it would be beneficial to do it, but obviously, I don't ever put something assuming that you will, so.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. Thank you, Mr. Mishner. Any other questions? Mrs. Bodwine?
I'm not sure that I have really seen what we are doing with the library. Is there a drawing of that or something we see or?
So if you were to go through the Parkview Media, or through the Parkview building, the media center is open air. And so it has, you know, the bookshelves, and then it has kind of the bulletin boards. Essentially what this project is doing is putting doors on the north and south side and making it so that it's enclosed. So from a noise perspective, somebody walking down the hallway, as well as for safety and security, it's been recommended in our security audit, it's also been recommended by the staff. And so it's not going to have any sort of grand different look, the ceiling's all the same, even those, the areas that were actually millwork that was built that have bookcases on the side, those will stay, but then they're putting some glass partitions and they're making it so that it's able to be enclosed in its entirety.
Okay, and there's classrooms that come right off of that space, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, it's been like 5-6 years since I've been in that building.
There's a hallway around.
Hallway around.
Yeah, okay,
hallway
so there'll be
around
like a hallway around it and we're kind of just
Yeah,
kind of
leaving
putting a
it
little
in,
bubble
leaving
around
it
it?
in,
It's
leaving
like
it
a
in
bubble?
place. Yeah,
Just a little-
actually, it's already somewhat defined.
Okay.
It's just open
Yeah,
air.
it's like the bookcases and stuff sort of set up that perimeter there.
Exactly.
Okay, cool, thank you. I assumed someone had drawn it up, but I
Yeah.
didn't think I had seen it.
Yeah, we do have drawings for it, happy to share.
I'm sure that someone has taken care of it, I just was like, I wonder what we're doing, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bodwine. Any other questions or any?
So could we get a promise that we'll get some drawings here sometime between now and early next week?
I am certain that Mr. Donnelly will send those over.
And
With
then
that
if we could also get some kind of spreadsheet that shows the accounting of everything, just total,
that's in our-
total budget and.
No, it's all.
We can do a whole, we can
Just for
actually
the
do a whole
2019
bond
bond.
financial.
Yeah, that's what I.
We'll have a whole bond financial update.
It's just, I am fine approving this tonight, but it's hard to say, yep, I approve $1 million increase when you don't see what it's increasing or where it came from. So, a good old spreadsheet would solve that.
Coming.
Got it.
But we do have that money in contingency, so
Yeah, it's in the overall program.
and we're at the end of this project now, so we don't foresee any other issues coming up with
It's
this, correct? So,
at the tail end at this point.
Would it reduce any chaos with students being in the building to move it to approval tonight so construction can start sooner, or is timing not that critical?
I don't think it would impact students, just from the standpoint of, you know, we don't have students currently occupying the space, so.
But having construction workers in there during school hours, is this something that would be done over the summer
Parkview.
then?
you mean at Parkview?
Yeah.
I think she's asking.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I apologize,
Parkview,
you're
'cause
talking
there are
about
students in
Parkview.
Parkview.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes,
Because
yes,
it's
sorry.
attached
Sorry,
to the.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Novi
won't
Center.
start that project until the summer anyway, so,
Okay.
but, so from that part of it, no, it's, the part of it that's going to be for the technology spaces and,
Got it.
you know, in the current facility.
When's the Parkview section scheduled to be completed?
I believe, I'll let you answer that, Mr.
Yeah, it's roughly 3 weeks worth of work, it'll be done in probably mid-July.
Even starting after the school year?
After
Yes.
Or after,
And let me ask you,
Sorry,
so is the
Mrs. Flicker, I
technology,
didn't- You were talking about Parkview.
is the technology piece, I know it's kind of like a hodgepodge of conversation going on, the technology piece though, are they needing that approval to continue the work on a more timely manner so that they do not have to wait until our next meeting, which is in June, correct? Is that our next meeting?
That's right.
Yes.
It would be advantageous if we were able to approve it tonight, to keep contractors moving, to keep material procurement moving forward as well.
Okay. Could we, so Betsy has talked about the, what's it called?
The drawings.
The drawings. We certainly, there could be the thought of breaking it into two things, right? There could be a recommendation. I don't know how that works with the money here, though.
We would have to do, we could split it out. I mean, we can also just make as a part of the resolution that, you know, it's in contingent upon, I mean, I don't know, we can send the drawings tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe we have.
I am, as the one who asked about this, I will just tell you, I feel quite confident in our architects and Plant Moran, and I would like to know what we're doing, but I don't foresee this being anything controversial. So I'm very comfortable to approve it with the agreement that we will get to know what you're going to do, but I don't think it'll be.
Great. Sounds good. Any other conversation? Anybody would like to move forward with a motion? Mr. Mishner?
I would move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the requested $1,075,332.45 to finalize and complete the 6th grade house and fund the additional scope of work at Parkview Elementary that is accounted for in the overall budget.
We have support?
Support.
Recommended by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mrs. Roney. Does anybody have any concerns, questions, or future dialogue? I know we've requested some financials and some drawings, and I'm certain we'll get those. No? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Donnelly. We appreciate you sitting through our entire meeting.
Not a problem. Sending those drawings right now, he's ready.
Okay, sounds great, thank you. Alrighty, we are gonna move on to committee reports, and I know I do not see committee report on here, but we did have capital projects committee, so I will turn it over to Mrs. Boakline.
Okay, so I gave a rather robust summary of the work we've been doing last time, so I'll keep it brief this time. At our committee of the whole, we went through with our architectural team what we are anticipating as the proposal for the 2025 bond, and just went over at a very high level what the different changes we would want to make would be. And that is something that will be discussed more in depth at a town hall on Tuesday, May 27th at 6 p.m. at Novi Meadows. The community is welcome to join us for that, and we look forward to sharing more information. The committee of the whole meeting that we had it was just a board meeting in a little more casual format to kind of go through it all and make sure all of us are on the same page with what we're doing, and I think that we are. And in the next couple of months, we'll be talking about ballot language and the next steps in this process.
Thank you, and thank you for chairing that committee as usual.
My pleasure, thank you.
Did you have a question, Cameron? No, okay. We will move on to the superintendent's report, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Micah.
Thank you. So Trustee Kleebert has asked, and I thought was a great idea, I also talked to Trustee Roney about sharing a financial report that will allow the board on a monthly basis to have a really good dialed in understanding of where we stand on the budget from year to date, as well as a up to date projection on where we think we're gonna end year end. So I know that document is up on the screen, and I appreciate Ms. Cicluna for putting this together, and I wanna let her explain a little bit about what you're looking at here, and hopefully see if we can get your input on whether this would be something you'd like to see. We'd like to build this for you every month, so I'll let you kind of share.
Okay. I know the picture is very small, and I have no intention of going line by line through this report. I would prefer you do that on your own time, but I do want to just share some information about it. So this report compares the original budget for 2024-25 fiscal year with the First Amendment.
year-to-date actuals as of today, May 15th, and our projected year-end figures. It also includes the final budgets for 22-23 and 23-24 fiscal years for comparison. It's important to note that revenues and expenditures may be recognized in different periods, and that leads to timing differences between the year-to-date actuals and the final projected figures. So I don't want anybody to look at like the bottom line or our total revenue versus total expense and evoke any fear. It's really about timing differences. The intention with this report is to produce it on the first of every month and include it in the board packet for review and discussion as needed. And the financial information is reported on the function level, which is consistent with other financial reports shared with the board. As a highlight of key sections, I would just like to note the First Amendment reduced projected revenues and expenditures and took a conservative approach, estimating the district would probably tap into the fund balance to end the fiscal year with a fund equity balance of 14.8%. The MDE recommends the district maintain a fund equity balance of 15%, and for the past few years, we've been slightly below at 14.9%. With a little more than 1 month left in the school year, our current projections show us ending the fiscal year in a better position, potentially adding to the fund balance and achieving the MDE fund equity balance of 15%. And that's where we stand.
Thank you. I just have a question. So, I know you said that monthly this will go in the board packet. I'm just curious of the board's thoughts on, is that the appropriate space, especially without a report behind it, because people can read through it and have questions, and maybe, you know, are we having like a financial dialogue every single meeting? That's why we have a finance committee. Is this something that can be shared in your weekly or once a month with the board directly? I'm just not sure that this is the appropriate space and place for this, but that's just my opinion.
One of the suggestions that we had talked about was the possibility that during the consent agenda, it's just simply a report that's included, right? So if you were to, it wouldn't be something that was presented, but it gives you, for example, if the next poll that we would have in the highlighted column would be for 6/1/2025. So you have the ability as a board member on 6/12, when we're meeting at the board meeting, it's gonna be in the consent agenda, so you're basically approving it as a report, but then you'd have the ability to look to see exactly where we stand as of June 1st. And then July will be the only month where that doesn't really make sense, because we literally don't pay bills on July 1st, so you know, you're gonna be in a new budget year. But the idea would be that, say, October board meeting, you're seeing what the budget to actual was as of October 1st, and then you can see how much of each function is spent and how much revenue we've taken in relative to the year, or to the budget. So the hope is that this would give the board information, not that we would present it every month, but that you would see it in the consent agenda.
I really appreciate you putting this together. I think it's really important that we as trustees and officers have some visibility to our monthly financials. I don't think we need to go through a deep dive of them. I don't necessarily think consent items would be the right place for it. Numbers can move around even after they're published, and I wouldn't want somebody to infer this as like an audited report. I would be fine getting it once a month in an email from you. It doesn't need to be necessarily presented. I just worry about presenting numbers that haven't been audited and somebody inferring them differently.
That'd be fine.
I do have a couple quick questions if I can ask. So the first two columns, final budget, are those actuals?
Yeah, those are audited final budgets.
That's what I thought. And then going forward, if we could get the year-to-date, I know you just pulled them effective today, but is it possible to show year-to-date, for example, today you would have shown April month end with a year-to-date First Amendment so that we can compare apples to apples? Does that make sense?
It does.
Is your budget on a monthly basis?
I don't think the system reports it that way. I actually tried to pull numbers for prior year for 23-24, looking at it from a segment or a quarterly standpoint. I'll have to dig into the SMART reports to see if that's
just showing like
possible.
Year-to-date versus, you know, we're showing a 10-month or 11-month number compared to a 12-month number, so looking at like percent year-to-date actuals to budget is kind of apples to oranges a little bit. Am I reading that properly? I'm comparing a 12-month number to a 10 and a
For the
half
First
month number?
Amendment versus year-to-date,
Yeah,
yes, that is
right,
correct.
so-
And that's where the bridge for the percent year-to-date actual versus budget comes in, cause
Yeah.
you can see, okay, we're at 94% of our local revenues, we have 6% left coming in the next month, we're
Mhm.
estimating.
I think it's helpful to show the projected year end so that you're comparing, like the First Amendment to that column is really important. I just, like the percent year to date actual to budget, I don't know if somebody would misinterpret that.
Yeah, no, you're right, I mean, it would be nice to see year-to-date amendment
Versus year-to-date actuals.
It's not broken down by month, though.
Okay, or even quarterly?
It's
just
literally
annually?
uploaded as a
Okay.
total number into the system.
Well, I think at least having the First Amendment column with the projected year end is really helpful. Because that's year to date plus any changes you see
Yeah,
coming. So
totally.
those would be the two I would guess I would highlight, and a percent of that column versus First Amendment.
Okay, I can do that.
But I think this is great. I really appreciate you putting it together.
Thanks.
I love spreadsheets.
Before I call on you, Mr. Commissioner, I'm gonna recommend too that, Mrs. Roney, that you work with Mr. Minka just to figure out the best way to get the information to us, whether it just be in the, an email to us versus the packet, so, thank you. Mr. Commissioner?
So, it's a fascinating discussion. It makes me, I wanna understand too, because I've noticed that some board meetings, we get a board report of our check registry, our purchase cards, a board report similar to that, but just a summation of all the bills received. And some months, like this month, we don't have that at all. So I'm just wondering, are there some set financial documents that we should expect to receive every month or every other month? How exactly does that work out? And why do some months we get those statements and why some months like this, like they're not there?
Honestly, that's based on timing of the team and reconciling the P card and putting the board reports together and then getting it to Sheila in time. The end of the year changes things. There are different processes that the finance team invokes, so they shut off all the P cards and then they get people coming back asking to turn things on, and so they're facilitating a lot of year-end stuff, and I think that probably delayed them reconciling and reporting expenditures to the board this month.
Okay, so, but that is, on a normal basis.
Yeah, you
we
should
to
expect
see
that,
those?
absolutely.
So, along those lines, is it, Jamie and Marianne, what are your thoughts if we could see kind of like a rolling scorecard of where all the budgets are based on the monthly bills? Is there a way that we could put that in our minutes? I recognize that would be public and a document that would kind of live on. But is there a way that we could denote that such that there wouldn't be any confusion that it's audited, but it kind of would go in line with our board report for expenditures for the month?
Again, I just would be hesitant to publish any numbers because you can always make adjustments to accounting. I think if you wanted to do something like that, a general statement of we are trending to budget, or these are the variances we're expecting to budget, something a little bit more general would be, I would support that. But I just don't want to publish any numbers or approve anything and have it be implied that they're final.
Do we already do that in the sense that like our budget is a draft until we get
We haven't
finalized and then it's like it goes through three stages, right? It's like approved, finalized, and then audited. Is that already how we denote our budget currently?
The budget, yes, that is what we do. So you're gonna likely have to pass an original budget in June for the upcoming year.
Mhm.
You're also going to pass a final budget. And so what will happen is you will pass the original budget and then in, roughly sometime in December through February, you probably would do an A1, an amendment. Then you'll do another final budget, but after the final budget is complete, then you're going to get your final audited numbers. And so that's when we do our audit report, and then that's when they become final, right? So, the budget process is that way. In terms of showing this report, whether we send it, we can work, Marianne, on how we do that, whether I put it into an email that comes to you every month. This is just really intended to try and give the board more information about where we stand year to date, right? So, someone might wonder, I'm just curious, we're approving things, I wonder where we sit today, and how we're trending and where we expect to end. I mean, these projected year ends are gonna shift month over month, right? Cause there are always things that are happening when you're dealing with $100 million a year. So I think it's it's something that we're just trying to give you as a board team as much information as we can to just be in tune with it at the level that you want.
Yeah, I'm in support of getting this information, whatever way we deem appropriate is to share. It'd be very useful if the information reflected by line item, whatever was approved the previous month too. So we could see like the motions we approved tonight that had a $ attached to it. If you gave out this report next month, it's clearly denoted where those slotted into your summary. That would be really neat.
That would be really neat.
She's looking
But also impossible.
Software doesn't do that, that's what that base means, right?
Yeah. I think you could make a general statement though, that like this falls under the general administration line.
Yeah,
Yes.
something like that.
Mrs. Bodwine.
Okay, so, unlike some of my trustees here, this is not something that really thrills me, and this level of detail does not get me really excited, right? It is a very, very important thing, and I'm so excited for my spreadsheet loving trustees here, because like we all have different strengths, and I think that is an amazing gift that we've all gotten to be on this board together. What I would really love is when you send this out in whatever capacity, if you could give me like 3 to 5 sentences that would tell me anything important you'd like me to look at.
Absolutely.
Okay, because that would be much easier for me to digest. Because otherwise I will stare at this report for a very long time and probably ask you a very irrelevant question. So if you could just give me.
Always.
That would be super helpful. And then I also wanted to express support for the idea of sending this out as an email communication to the board. Mr. Mishnah mentioned having something that the public has access to, but all of our communication is technically like public record, and the community is, able to have access to that at whatever point if required. So I don't feel like it would be, lacking transparency if we're communicating on these detailed things. That way we're publishing it, but if somebody inquires, we're certainly able to provide what that information would be.
And I would, to piggyback on that, June 10th is going to be a very robust financial presentation, which is going to be published and communicated to the public. So that will be a very deep dive into all of this and more. So, we certainly want to make sure anyone that wants to know where we stand financially, those documents are always available.
We can add some finance committee meetings if we want. Generally, it's the 3 people that are on the committee that show up. It's, there's no other members, no audience participation. But we can add a few committee members or committee meetings, probably the committee of the whole, if we want to. I do agree with Jamie that should not be in our board packet, because like you said, they're not audited numbers, and I don't want us to get in trouble with anything. We'll talk about more, but like I said, we could do a few more meetings if we want to, but also our team works very hard, and to throw a lot more stuff on their plate, I think it's a big ask. So that's my other thing.
Your 2 cents as the treasurer?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mrs. Bodwine.
Ms. Cluna, how long does this report take you to generate?
So as it stands, this report, it's not long. I've basically automated it. I pull the data directly out of the system. I pop it into a tab on the spreadsheet, and this report populates automatically.
So this is like less than 15 minutes of work for you?
Yeah, now that it's built.
It
Okay. At
wasn't
this
15
point,
minutes
yes.
to build it.
Right,
Yes.
but like if we asked you to give this to us every month, we would not be
Not at
creating
all.
an excessive amount of
I
work for
built
you.
it that way intentionally.
To tie it into every
wanted to make
motion that
sure.
we make though,
I now see
that would be.
the justification for your expression.
Just like, ooh.
think that was a great quote, though. That would be neat. Like, I agree.
All right, do you have anything else for your superintendent's report?
I sure do. So it was great. It was great today to have the senior clap out. I had the opportunity to go to Parkview and just walk with the students, and I think it's really neat for the kids to get excited to see the older kids. They're like celebrities to them. Really excited about our special education department held a Novi for All field day today. Had the opportunity to see that at the end of the day. Just seeing the way that our parents on the CPAC committee, as well as our staff in the special education department, create these incredible experiences. We also had a KLAA Unified Day last week, so just a lot of opportunities. This time of year is crazy busy. We've had choir concerts, band and orchestra concerts. We've had a lot of different things. Had the opportunity to go see Newsies a few weeks ago, which was absolutely incredible. The talent of our students and them being able to showcase that at the end of the year is awesome, and it just seems like it's going so quickly because already on Sunday we have graduation. We're hoping that our families will get the opportunity to gather together with family members from out of state by holding it on Sunday, and we're encouraging everyone to celebrate the class of 2025 at Eastern Michigan University at 3 o'clock. And the last thing I'll say is that I had just a really neat exchange with some of our seniors. They hold a senior picnic the last day of school. It was a couple days ago, and just getting to visit with some of them and seeing the different places that they're going. A lot of kids just proud of where they're going. It was kind of their one last time together, and we do a lot of really neat things that are obviously great academics and all of those things, but there's also a lot of really kind of neat experiences that our kids get to have thanks to the staff. So I appreciate all that they do, and I appreciate this board's support of our staff as well. And that will conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Micah. We'll move on to administrative reports. Ms. Sakuna, I'm not sure if you have much else to share.
I just have one thing. It was announced earlier that our transportation director, Cindy Valentine, is retiring, and I wrote a little farewell on her behalf. I would just like to read it. That's my only announcement. So, it's tough to imagine the school district without your steady hand guiding the transportation department all these years. For 20 years, you've contributed to making sure our students get to school and home safely, navigating all sorts of challenges with such dedication over the years. We've all benefited from your commitment and the countless hours you've poured into this crucial role. You've built a team that reflects your values of reliability and care, and that's a real testament to your leadership. While we will certainly miss your expertise and your presence, we are also genuinely happy for you as you embark on this new chapter. We hope retirement brings you all the joy, relaxation, and new adventures you've earned. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your years of service, and we wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and on behalf of the board, we feel the same way. So, appreciate you. Dr. Carino.
Thank you. We had successful negotiations with our Novi Transportation Association this week, and so we are looking forward to having collaborative conversations going forward with them and hope to bring a tentative agreement to your consideration in the coming weeks. We also are looking forward to Teamsters negotiations resuming next week, and so we're looking forward to meeting with them again. We are really excited to announce our first district-wide staff appreciation event next week, and so through a very generous donation from the Fountain Walk owner, a very generous donation, we are able to recognize and celebrate all of our staff district-wide next week, and so we're really looking forward to celebrating each other and having a lot of camaraderie and just different buildings talking to each other that don't normally see each other, and just really making sure our staff know that they are appreciated. I would like to thank Rosalie Johnson for spearheading our May is Mental Health Awareness Month activities. She planned a variety of different activities for staff and families, and so I really want to thank her for her leadership. We were also very excited to host our very first job fair locally in the district under my leadership, and so I want to give kudos to Jeff Dinkelman, who is our Director of Employee Relations, who organized the event, as well as Denise Landau and Kelly Evans, who supported the event, and multiple administrators that came and met with lots of different candidates. We had a great turnout for both our special education job fair and our general education job fair this week. And so it was a great opportunity to bring candidates to the Rohr Center so they could see some of our facilities and meet with them locally, as opposed to going to different, schools that are not necessarily close to us and meeting candidates who say, where is Novi? So people who actually are interested in being in our local district. We're also excited, we sent out our therapy dog application for our handlers, and so we're looking to hopefully bring 2 more dogs onto our district ranks, and so we're looking forward to seeing if any staff are interested in being handlers. And although I think we mentioned it a little bit the last time before staff appreciation, I just would like to publicly recognize and thank all of our staff again, because Staff Appreciation Week has passed. But we really appreciate everything that our staff does district-wide, and they deserve all the recognition in the world for multiple meetings. So, and finally, just hiring is very much underway. We have multiple positions that are being posted in the next few days, and we are in very much high gear to hopefully bring recommendations to your consideration next month. So, thank you.
Perfect, thanks for all of that. It's a busy, busy time, I imagine.
Very much so.
Thank you. Mr. Germini?
Thank you, Dr. Ruskin. Yesterday I had the opportunity to attend the Automate conference in Detroit with some of our STEM teachers, one of our mechatronics teachers actually. And today we actually had additional staff. Our other mechatronics teacher brought a group of about 15 students to that same conference to support our career readiness efforts. It's a robotics and automation conference with some educator-specific opportunities. The technology was unreal. It's at Huntington Place, which is, just huge, but it's at Kobo, sorry. And just seeing the things that people are doing with robots, integrating artificial intelligence, how they're using visualization to support the robots and coding what the robots do, just really lots of great ideas for what we might bring into our programs. And so our teachers are very excited to start working on that. And then on the instructional side, we're looking forward to wrapping up our spring assessments as this month plows forward very quickly. And our intent is to have our iReady report ready for you in June, so that we can think about some instructional decisions for next school year.
Thank you. Alrighty, we will move on to board communication. Anybody have specific board communication? Mr. Mishner.
So I had the pleasure of attending the Meadows 5th and 6th grade orchestra concert, which is always a blast. Again, kudos to Miss Reyes. I don't know how she literally performs 2 separate orchestra concerts simultaneously for if you've never attended. She runs the 5th and 6th grade orchestra at the same time in the same in the gym at Meadows. And she goes back and forth between the 2 distinct groups and has them alternate playing pieces. Keeps absolute control of both orchestras at all times, and the students do an amazing job. Some 5th graders have never touched a string instrument before, and not only do they make music that's not objectionable, it's actually very pleasing. And the 6th grade orchestra, you can just see how much the students progress. It's just a really amazing performance, and the fact that she can orchestrate that all in one night is always astounds me. And then also, Meadows had their cultural showcase just yesterday, Tuesday, and it was really amazing. It was kind of like a more mature or more grown version of what we have now in our elementary schools with their multicultural night. There is still the traditional tables representing the different countries with the food, which is always a big hit. But they kind of mixed it up, and the performances took more center stage, quite literally, and they alternated between performances in front of the grand staircase and on the stage in our new cafeteria. And it was great to see the new facility being utilized that way, and it was really nice to be able to see the breadth of performances that our community put together. It was even, you could see in the parents that were performing with their students, the joy they got in sharing their culture and passing it down to the next generation. And it was really well attended, so all in all, I would say that was quite a success. And so, Mr. Germini, that brings us up to, I believe, 75% complete on our wellness goal number 3, your measure of success number 5. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the middle school and high school do in the next couple weeks.
Well, the high school has shifted their efforts to support that Novi for All, the field day.
So they're technically
High
done?
school is technically checked off, and the
Okay.
middle school is, what's today, Thursday?
Yes.
Tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow
I
evening.
was looking for the official timestamp, because it's not on my calendar.
Do you know what time?
Looking for it. 5:30.
5:30, and what are they calling their event?
It's a family movie and discussion. Spelling the Dream is the movie that they're gonna be watching and hosting a discussion after.
Okay. Excellent, so you'll be 100% by the end of this week? Kudos.
Kudos, Mr. Jeremy.
You should expect that.
Overachievers.
Mrs. Bodwine.
Okay, so, first, the staff appreciation event, I think, is fantastic. And I would like to extend my gratitude to the owner of Mountain Walk for that wonderful, wonderful donation. I hope that the staff members all have a great time together. And I hope that all of you who are in positions of authority over them leave fairly quickly and let them all have a nice evening without you. And maybe you go to somewhere else after so that they can all just relax. That's just my wish for them. Second, I wanted to say congratulations to Cameron. And I know you're coming to one more meeting, but you have been absolutely delightful to work with, and I'm thrilled that you have found your voice at this table, and it has just been such a great addition for all of us. We will say more about this next month, but congratulations on your upcoming graduation. As well as congratulations to the Ruskin and Cook families on their students graduating. This is a very exciting time. I mentioned to Dr. Ruskin the other day that my fourth grader graduating from Village Oaks kind of hit me in the feelings this week. And I can't even imagine the parents of seniors and what this must feel like. So my little one says that I cry when she gets big, and it is very true. And so if you have a friend who is parenting a senior, give them a hug. This is amazing. It's like an incredible, exciting time. And as a board member, I'm thrilled to witness all of the students, coming to this great crescendo here. But it is bittersweet, and so we are proud of you all and look forward to celebrating with you on Sunday. And so thank you all for all the amazing things you've done. You've made this board and this district look fantastic. Class of 2025, you guys are awesome, so thank you.
We're pretty cool.
Thank you, Mrs. Bodwine. Mrs. Cleaver?
I just have a note of appreciation for the week, or for the month. The PTOs will be celebrating our bus drivers the first week of June for Transportation Appreciation Week. They have a schedule set for the week to drop goodies off to the bus drivers and show our appreciation for them. We have some amazing humans that drive our buses. I haven't met all of them, but Mr. Gary and Mr. Scott and Mr. Mark and Mr. Dexter and Miss Stephanie and Miss Sandy, and I haven't met all of them, but those are just a few that have taken my kids back and forth to school. But I think our kids sometimes forget to thank them for the ride every day, so we from the board would like to publicly appreciate them. I'm sure the PTOs will do a great job, but if we could all give our bus drivers an extra thank you, I know it goes a long way.
Thank you. Any other board communication? Mrs. Roney?
I had a busy month of May. On May 7th, I went to the Oakland Schools, the GRC meeting, and Representative Tinsdale was there. He's a state rep, and he has sponsored a bill on the cell phone policy that they're trying to put through. He picked our brains some because the bill is a little rough on all schools, so, and it doesn't really have any teeth. It's kind of like, we want you to do this, but pretty much every school system has a cell phone policy in place, but they want it to bring, like we are with the under pouches and such. But that is, the House and the Senate haven't got together yet. They each have a bill. So just watch and see, and if you have any feedback, send it off to them. And then Lisa, our government's relationship, she just talked about the budget. It's still out there, it's still not ready. So it does look like we might get an increase, but then of course they're gonna have some unfunded mandates that they want us to do as well. So And then on the second, third, and fourth, I was up to Mackinac at the spring conference. Had a great time. The one-day conference was on AI, which I did email. There's a lot of schools that are using, it's called Brisk, and it's like a learning AI program. So it's made for like the younger kids to actually learn how to use AI with like their homework and stuff. It's not like, you know, Chat GPT, thank you. I hate those 3 letters. And so, you know, we talked about that where a lot of kids, they're using it to write papers and such, and they're not learning from it. This is actually a learning tool. So it's not one of those things where like, the kids are gonna do it and we're just gonna say, no, that was from Chat GPT. So there's that. And then I went on to take some CBA classes. It was great, you know, networking with a lot of people. Met that lady from Howell that talked about our baseball and softball complex. And I think that's about it, other than there's the Summer Institute, which is in August. The enrollment is now available. And then, last thing, today I went to the U.S. Foods, National Foods, with the Novi Rotary, their summer. It was formerly Feed the Need, but now it's Novi Cares, and that's on our website, the Novi Community School District's website, where if you want to go and volunteer to help distribute lunches or make a donation, it's on there now. So that's it.
Thank you. You've been busy. We appreciate you representing. Thank you. Any other board communication? Mr. Cook?
Yeah, it seems like we're turning Staff Appreciation Week into Staff Appreciation Year.
Sounds
We'll
great.
continue next year. We'll keep it going. I'd like to mention that I was at the spring choir concert. All 4 choirs, 4 or 5 choirs performed. They did an outstanding job, a lot of a cappella, returning alumni joined them for a song or 2. It was actually surprising on how good some of the students actually have come throughout the years. And even if you don't have kids in choir or orchestra or band, I would suggest going to their concerts once or twice and just see what talent we have here in Novi. After Cameron spoke a little bit, and I'm going to miss him when he's gone, but I almost wondered if we should name the new ESB the Harmony Hollow.
I know.
But another thing that I did earlier this week, I ran into a gentleman and was talking to him, and it turns out to be a great CTE opportunity. Most of you don't know, but out in New Hudson, there is a World War II aircraft that is being rebuilt. I have a connection to that aircraft.
Oh.
My father, during 1946, was at Randolph. I don't know why. I'm choking up.
It's because it's clap out day.
That too.
Yeah.
But my father, while at Randolph Army Air Base, was a mechanic on B-25s, and that's where this airplane was. So,
Cool.
but I mentioned it to the Phil and Larry, copied Ben and Mike on it, and also to Travis, and hopefully we get the kids that opportunity to get out there and see what aircraft, being an aircraft mechanic would be like. And it's being a mechanic, they're looking for CAD operators, they CNC programming. They're basically using every aspect to rebuild this airplane. But it just, I don't know, I just had to mention it tonight. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I'll give up on that. I got enough stuff coming up Sunday, so.
I know. You got your tissue? You got your tissue for Sunday?
No, that's what the sleeves are for.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the big black sleeves, we're gonna,
You can put tissues in them.
yeah.
So who's bringing like the fishing pole this year?
No fishing poles. That was last time.
I know.
Mr. Mena, do you have anything tonight, or no?
No, I mean, I've been spending, I think, probably worked a couple track meets since the last time we met. We have one that we host every year. This is the Novi JV Invitational, which is kind of a cool meet. You know, a lot of our students, a lot of our athletes get to go to regionals, which happens to be tomorrow, which we're hosting tomorrow. But the JV Invitational is one that allows some of our student athletes who don't really get to participate at the varsity level of track and field to get an opportunity to run some events they normally don't get to, and some also to try to improve their best to try to actually make it to regional. We had about 10 schools out, about 600 kids from local schools, so it was a pretty nicely run event. It was pretty fun.
Over 120 in the 100-yard dash alone.
Oh, yeah, that's
Of
right, yeah,
the
there's-
boys.
Yeah,
Not to
we're-
mention about 90 girls.
It's and I gotta tell you, it is pretty cool. Like, it's not like, I don't know if anybody ran track in high school, but we really have the electronics going. We've got iPads at all of the different field locations. So we've got live results going in iPads, wirelessly being sent to a central computer, right? And then we have clerks. One who's a teacher at our district, and we have another volunteer who actually go in and group all these kids and literally get them ready into their event, so the kids know what lane they're going to be in, what event, what heat they're going to be in, and then when their time comes up, their name pops up on the video board. They know it's their time. They cross the finish line. They see their results, and we keep moving it on. So it is pretty cool that the way technology and athletics has really picked up over the years, and it's allowed us to really get through these events fairly quickly. So, pretty cool stuff.
Awesome, thank you.
I did track and field in school, and we had clipboards, and we had popsicle sticks.
And we used to do yards back then, right? Not
Yeah.
yards and
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah, 440
Not
relay.
meters. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to thank the high school staff, not just the principals over there, Mrs. Carter and the assistant principal, but just everybody who helps run those offices. You know, when you are a parent of a senior, as Mrs. Beaudoin pointed out, you realize all the work that they do during this time. So they're not just doing their regular things that they do on an everyday basis, which is probably more than some people out there do in a year, but they are also, going to honors night and doing the picnic, and, the principals at each of the elementary schools allowing the students to come back and get to have a little nostalgic moment and see some of their teachers and be, recognized as families. And, it takes a lot of time out of their day, and so I just wanted to say thank you to them. It's super appreciative for making our 500, and how many kids do we have, 15?
75.
Ooh, 75, I keep saying 515, I missed 60 of them. 575 kids and their families feel super special and celebratory during this time, but it's just, it's a lot because it's going on during the regular school day. And we were driving to Clap Out over at Deerfield, and the kiddos from probably Meadows were getting off the school bus and walking home. So it's just like everything is still working and going in a well-oiled machine, but we also have this whole set of activities and celebrations going on. So I just wanted to shout out to all of them for all the hard work that they're doing to make these kids feel great. I love that it's early in the spring. I can't believe it's only yet already. May 18th is graduation, but it seems kind of early, but as a parent who's got a lot of anticipation, it's good to be done. Don't you think, Cameron?
Absolutely.
It's good to be done. When you're ready, you're ready.
I would agree.
What do you think there, Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I'd like to second that. The administration at the high school and all the planning that they're doing, hopefully we'll have a event on Sunday that comes off without a hitch, which normally it does. And Cameron, when you come up on stage, make sure you take a detour and shake every one of these guys
Oh,
hands.
yeah.
Oh, are you all gonna be here? Or there?
Oh, we are. You just wait, you're in for a big surprise.
Oh, he is, isn't he? Oh, we're gonna make it special for him,
Yeah, we're
aren't we?
gonna make it special. People are gonna be like, who's that Cameron walking across the stage?
Okay.
Do you
So,
like,
yeah.
do you like to fish? Inside joke, Cameron. That's-
Yeah, I was gonna say, you were talking about the fishing pole and I was a little confused.
We won't keep you in the dark. So last year, Mr. Smith gave his son, Thomas, who was graduating, a fishing pole on the graduation stage, kind of as a little gift,
Oh.
and something that Thomas really loved. So since, Thomas has graduated, and we were just thinking, oh, what can we do that's outside the box? But that's where the little joke came from, so, yeah.
Good to know, good to know.
Alrighty. If I can get a motion for adjournment? Mr. Mishner?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Recommended by Mr. Mishner and supported by Mrs. Roney. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.